Scott Sharp, everybody.
Feels like you could start a revolution in a room like this, right? Like what are we gonna do about it, you guys? Like everyone's got their opinion. Now it's good you guys are out doing stuff. It's healthy. I went to a concert a while back just to get out of the house, and around when I got there, I got a beer, and I was dancing to the music. Boom, 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 you know? Just having a good time. This guy next to me had really long dreadlocks, and I looked over at one point, and one of his dreads was in my beer. Actually soaked a good portion of it. Way more than you would think. Into the... I didn't want to waste it. I had just gotten there. It was like a $12 beer. So I just made a game time decision and rang it out into the cup. Chugged it. Ended up tripping for like 9 days. So I chalked it up as a win. That's a lot of partying in the city for $12. There's not like a Groupon or anything. My new thing is I like having a couple crazy, outspoken Christian friends on Facebook. It's fun. Anytime the country progresses a little bit, you get to go to their wall and see how they're handling it. One of mine, his name's Kevin. He shared an article right around when gay marriage passed titled 4 Things God Would Say to Homosexuals. But it was written by some guy named Gary. I would love to have Gary's self-confidence. Can you imagine? Every time I write something, I sit there and think, is this even good? Gary cranks out one little article for some stupid website. He's like, not only is this good, I'm fairly certain it's exactly what God would say. Looks like I knocked it out of the park again. He's probably one of those guys that when he's talking at work, everyone's like nodding along, but in their head they're just thinking, I fucking hate you, Gary. Oh my God. Everyone has to eat lunch in their car, so I have to hear about the audiobook he's listening to. When I first started doing stand-up, I remember having a conversation with another comedian that just started about what type of careers we wanted to have. Like there was going to be a choice at some point. I wince when I think about it, but a sentence I actually said to him, I was like, I mostly want to be known for my stand-up, but I would do TV as long as it's something I'm artistically interested in. 5 years later, I'm like, I'll host The Price is Right in a fucking dress. I don't care. I'll host a show where I just read ads in a monotone voice for the government. How's that? That's good. That's a good idea. It's a nightmare to make enough money doing this to live like a human being. This guy hit me up a couple months ago, and he goes, I'm producing 2 shows in Virginia, one on Friday, one on Saturday. Do you want to come out and be the opener, and I'll pay for the hotel room, but you have to get out here on your own dime. And I was like, oh God, it's like a 10-hour drive, but I was like, I don't have anything else, so I guess I'll just do it. So I rent this car and drive 10 lonely hours to Virginia. Like when I was a kid, I thought doing comedy was like in a green room with Richard Pryor and like boobs or something, you know, just like... So I drive out there, and after the first show, he goes, not enough people came. I can't pay you what I said I was going to pay you. And he had a neck tattoo, so I was like, I can't fight this guy. They'll just like eat your face or something crazy. So I was like, okay. And I just went back to the hotel room. And at 2 p.m. the next day, so I just sat there all day doing nothing, wasting the day. I get a text that the show is canceled that night. And I try to call him 100 times, and I'm not even there on business. All of a sudden, I'm just an asshole standing in Virginia. I just was like, oh, wait. I just was in Virginia all of a sudden. It was a weird feeling. And I had this nightmare of a drive to think about the whole thing and just how terrible my life is. And then I remembered that the hotel room was on his credit card. And I was like, I'm going to throw the TV out the window. So I went over and I opened the window, but it had like a little metal piece screwed into the tracks. I think so you can't commit suicide. That's when you know you're in a great town, when they're like, make sure the windows don't open very wide or everybody's gonna kill themselves. We gotta... So it only opened like 8 inches, so I just threw the remote out instead. It was pathetically anticlimactic to landed on a grass patch and didn't even break. Wow. It was my dad, when he comes out here, he always complains that no one talks to you in New York. Like, I'll just get to where we're going and stuff. And I was like, yeah, maybe that is changing me. Like, I used to talk to people. Now I'm like, ugh. Goes down to Kentucky, sitting at this bar, just killing time. The lady bartending goes, it's my oldest daughter's prom night tonight. And I was like, cool. And she goes, yeah, 2 days ago she asked if she could shave her head into a mohawk and dye it black for the prom. I would have never have let her do it in a million years, but a year ago, my 14-year-old got pregnant. And she said, once you have a 14-year-old get pregnant, you no longer care about hair. In my head, I was like, I'm never coming back to Kentucky. I want to go back to New York where no one talks to me. You know what it was? She's actually a cool lady. I talked to her for a while, but she just didn't have any instincts on which order to tell her stories in. You know? It takes instincts in a way. Like 5 minutes after she told me that one, she told me one about how her cat loves to ride in the minivan. In my head, I was like, you gotta start with that one. Open with... Great. You have to open with the cat minivan, right? Try to develop some sort of rapport before launching into the pregnant 14-year-old Mohawk saga. It's just a little heavy out of the gate. The mic's back and hope is restored. That would have been great if right when the mic cut out, I just jumped out the window. Like, well, fuck it, my career's over. That's the end of that. You guys all live in New York, right? It'd be weird if a tourist found this show. The coolest fucking tourist I've ever... There's like wandering around in Times Square. Some guy with an A-frame's like, you want to go to a comedy show? It's at my buddy Scotty's house. My landlord got murdered. You may have heard about it. It's like it was national news, but the short of it is, dude walked out of his Williamsburg office, right where we are, and a van pulls up. 3 dudes got out of the van, threw him into the van, and then they found his body 2 days later in a dumpster in Long Island, burned. And me and this dude had been living in this place for a year, paying rent, and we got to a month where we were short. Like, he was a little short, I was way short. I just whiffed it 1 month, and we were like stressing out about how to handle. Should we call the guy, maybe send them a little message, or maybe just be short. We've never been short. Maybe just be short and they don't say anything, and then the next month you get them. We were like talking about it. And then the next day, my roommate brought in the New York Post with him on the cover saying he got murdered. And we were like, great. That's perfect. That's kind of what I was hoping happened to that guy. So we just didn't pay anything. And it felt really good, you guys. It was like, and then we were like, we'll pay next month. And then the next month came, and we just didn't pay it again. We thought we were, but then we didn't. And then the third month came, and once you taste rent-free America, there's no going in the other direction once you kind of get the ball rolling. You think you're going to cut that check, but... So then halfway through the third month, I got a phone call from the building management. It was in my phone as like building MGMT right when I signed the lease. I typed it in, so it was like, oh no, well this was bound to happen. It was kind of like, all right, it happened. It's over. So I was like, hello? And the guy goes, yeah, you guys haven't paid for a while. And I was like, I know, it's terrible. And he goes, well, are you going to get caught up this weekend? And I was like, no. And he goes, are you going to pay next month? And I was like, no. I don't have any money. And there was like a 10-second pause. I was like, hello? He goes, I'm still here. And then he just goes, well, let us know. And I was like, will do. Thanks. All right, I'm Scott Sharp, everybody.
Scott Sharp, everybody. Scott Sharp.